Hello and welcome to This Week in Frax. Airdrop alert. Woo, 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 woo.
Not confirmed though. I
Not
don't know.
confirmed, but I've seen enough emoji reactions from Sam Kazemian inside of the Telegram chat to raise alarm bells.
You think so? I mean, yeah.
When Sam is literally leaving like googly eyes and 100% on everyone's airdrop comments, like there's definitely something there. You know, it's what there's no such thing as coincidences, and that is true here as well too.
I mean,
right.
I would love an airdrop. I mean, you know, I'm not going to say no
my
airdrop,
body is
but
prepared.
I wonder. We'll have Sam on Wednesday for Frax's 3-year birthday, for Frax's 3-year anniversary, 3rd birthday. So we can ask him there. Yep, you heard it here. We're having a special space with Sam and some friends to celebrate the 3rd birthday of Frax. And all your questions that you may have, let us know in the comments. Let us know in our group, because we're Ask Sam, and you know I am the alpha sniffer, so we'll get an answer.
Thankfully, from some pointed questions from CryptoVestor, who will probably be on that stream as well too, would be great. We learned a lot. So I mean, there's no commitment of any like airdrop in the future, but the googly eyes, the 100% all mean that they must be discussing it internally. We don't know anything here at Flywheel.
We're an independent team. We don't know anything.
We just scroll through the Telegram timeline just like you all at home, and it's really interesting. I mean, it kind of would make sense to have something. You know, if there's maybe it's like this, right? So if the core team is deploying new apps inside of Fraxchain, let's say there's a perpetual DEX that gets launched, right? The perp DEX probably needs its own token, right? And that would be airdropped. Or maybe there's another different type of app. So maybe it's app specific. Like maybe the Fraxchain itself is governed by veFXS, but what they're talking about when they talk about airdrops would be for like individual apps that.
No, I don't see them building individual apps though. What I see is like the only argument I could make for a separate token, like outside of FXS, is FXS is the token for the application layer. It's the token for the stablecoin and the sub protocols, everything on the application layer. But you go a level down to like the chain, to the roll up. That's a whole different set of parameters and variables. And so that requires, you know, a different set of incentives and governance. I haven't like dived into the infrastructure levels like our friends at Gelato yet, but I think like something like that provides a justification for, you know, a separate Fraxchain token. And I could see a scenario, you know, where maybe when it comes to like, you know, like FraxDAO and FXS token holders owning like a substantial portion of Fraxchain tokens, maybe like 51%, maybe 90%, and then just having like the rest of it float or airdropped and shit, you know. But like I can see a scenario like that. Those are like the only like those are like the justifications and scenarios that I can, you know, gather that could possibly happen.
Yeah. Yeah, something to do with like the sequencers or some.
Yeah, exactly.
The chain level.
And like one thing I've noticed is, you know, Frax is doing so much. Like FXS, like it represents a lot of things. It's like the stable coin, it's the LSD, it's, you know, there's like the lend. There's so many different things. Like you know, Sam is talking like each of these protocols like could have their own token, but like they choose not to have it because they want all value to accrue to FXS, which is to both the benefit of FXS, but also derailment of understanding FXS to outsiders. There's people that are confused. Is FXS an LSD token or is FXS a stablecoin token? Like it's hard
to
like
bird? Is it a plane?
Yeah. And so like imagine like adding like, oh wait, like it's a fraction, like FXS, it's a L2 too now. Like, you know, people are gonna like still like see it as a stablecoin or an LSD or however they, you know, first learned of Frax. They like what I've noticed is people like usually don't update their framework and conception about protocols for a long time. They usually hear about it once and then they go on with their lives. And so I think like coming in with like a big splash of like a Fraxchain token would make it a hell of a lot easier for people to understand like, oh, Fraxchain L2 token, redacted.
Redacted?
Yeah. I mean, no, I said not financial advice.
There's actually some like really, somebody brought up the Amazon corollary to Frax, where, you know, Amazon kind of ran into pain points and started to make their biggest pain points their biggest products. And Sam actually brought this up in chat. He said, why did Amazon build AWS instead of simply selling and focusing on warehousing physical goods? Why did they build their server systems? It's because they had to do this because it was really expensive for them. And they saw that if it's super expensive for us, then it must be incredibly expensive for smaller businesses. And so Fraxchain is just like a natural byproduct of Frax's growth itself, in that it needs an L2 to be able to grow its entire ecosystem and potentially move all of its assets onto Fraxchain at some point, or the majority of all the assets on Fraxchain.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
This is super true because every single one of Frax's product, Frax is the largest user, right? Think about it. Frax BP, biggest LP. Frax Lend, biggest lender, right? Like every single one of Frax products, Frax is like one of the largest user of said product. So I really like that Amazon analogy and how we just built what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we also got some other like news inside. There's just a lot of like, I would just recommend to go back and read through the chat for the past week, because there was actually a lot. One of the things that was asked to Sam was like, what's FraxSwap going to do after BAMM? And Sam came out and said that they're thinking about merging FraxSwap into BAMM into one unified system with optimizations and additional features that might come later in 2024. For the first launch of BAMM, both BAMM and FraxSwap will just live by side in a complementary manner. Liquidity, the TUAMs will still be available, and then later they'll be merged into a unified novel AMM protocol.
Yo, it's lit. Let's go.
And we'll have docs. They said, Sam said it's about 1 to 2 weeks for the docs for BAMM to be finished, and we'll have something official come out.
That's it.
Yeah, we'll complement our coverage quite nicely.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been like a pretty action-packed week with the airdrop information, more information about Fraxchain as well too. Sam was talking about how Fraxchain is going to be modular as well too, which means that like the data availability will either come from Celestia or from potentially EigenLayer or one of the other services that is out there.
The data availability wars. I want to do an episode on data availability. Do you guys know who we should have on?
Celestia.
I can bring on Celestia.
Yeah, we've already talked to Ram, so we should talk to Celestia.
Oh, yeah, let's have them on.
Yeah.
Let's bring them both on. Let's bring all the DAs on and have like a DA buffet.
DA buffet. Yeah.
The Chili's team, you know Chili's, right?
Chills, yeah.
The sports one?
Yeah, the sports one. They actually reached out to us this week. They wanted to get Frax deployed onto the Chili's chain, which I didn't know they actually had, but they do have it. So we might see a Frax deployment through Axelar to Chili's.
I did that. I messaged the dude. I'm like, yo, let me help you out.
It's like, I did that.
What do I do best?
It's really surprising. I don't know what other Telegram groups you guys are in, but one that I can highly recommend is Ouroboros's capital group, or Ouroboros capital group.
Yeah.
There's a lot of alpha in there, and he's constantly talking about Frax. They have been just one of the biggest supporters for us over this time period, and really, really great to see Ouroboros kind of like round into being Frax's one of the top supporters. Yeah,
agreed.
He actually asked Sam this week about like what could like be built out on Fraxchain. And Sam pretty much said like any teams that want to come, like if you're a team out there that wants to deploy on Fraxchain, like you should get in touch now because it's coming soon. I mean, we're less than a month and a half away. I mean, we're like almost halfway through December. Well, we are halfway through December at this point, and Fraxchain is going to come out soon. Sam said the EtherScan partnership is almost finalized and deployed. And so the kind of, I don't want to call it naive, but non-Etherscan Explorer right now will be replaced, and we'll have a fully fledged Explorer where you can verify contracts and make the deployment of code pretty easy onto Fraxchain.
When Etherscan airdrop?
How'd that even work? Like
that will be the biggest ever. An Etherscan airdrop. Holy shit! Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Did you see the rainbow airdrop?
Yeah, that looked like a spammy scam thing. I was like, I saw these rainbow. I like did not want to click that. I saw like the rainbows and stuff, and then everyone was just like points.
Yeah, they gave everybody 100 points for just having a wallet on ETH, and then they want you to come and swap through them. So hopefully, trying to take people away from MetaMask and their 1%.
Actually, what wallets do you guys use?
For which? For mobile or for desktop?
For desktop to like work with dApps and stuff.
I use Trezor.
You have a Trezor?
Yeah. Fuck Ledger.
I've got a Grid Plus.
I'm sorry.
I've got a Ledger.
Sorry,
I'm taking L's.
Yeah. No, I will never forget. Like in 2020 when they had their marketing thing leaked. Remember? Do you guys remember that? They had like their marketing department hacked and like addresses and stuff. Like I bought like a Ledger like a month or 2 months before, and I was like, oh fuck. Luckily, I moved out of my location. But I'm like, are you kidding me? And like people were getting like threats and docs and shit.
Oh, that's horrible.
And then like literally 4 or 5 months after I bought my Ledger, it just stopped working. It broke. It was the biggest piece of shit. And ever since then, I'm like, Trezor was my first wallet, and I'm like, I'll never replace you, baby. I'm sorry. So I don't know. I'm like
Ledger was mine, so I'm stuck. The reason why I asked is I meant like more like MetaMask. Like what is that wallet you use to interact with like dApps and stuff? I recently started using Frame, like about 6 months ago, and it's actually quite nice.
I started using Rabby. I'm still like having like it's not connecting to everything, but like I like it's. I'm trying to get used to it. I'm trying to get off
heard
like
really good things about Rabby.
I don't know. I mean, MetaMask had that like first mover advantage.
Yeah.
Rabby's like if I was going to switch, I would go to Rabby because just they have a bunch of other things that MetaMask doesn't have, and the UX apparently is a lot better. But it's just hard. I mean, like once you're like locked into a system, it's hard to like get out of it, right?
Yeah.
True. See, even when things are decentralized, the natural forces of the market always just keep you in the place you are.
So the Arbitrum STIP is kicking off. I was just looking at some of the yields, and it looks like FraxBP has about $2.5 million worth of liquidity now, which is pretty good. And the kind of max boost that you can get out of there right now is about 12.6%. So maybe that's still early. I'm just checking
pretty solid.
I think the rewards haven't started because it's just CRV. So, or maybe it's on the Frax out. Let me check that while we go forward. But I saw somebody say that there was up to like 120% yield for some of the Frax pools. Oh yeah, they have kicked off. I'm looking at this right now. Let me pull this screenshot up so I can show you all. The yields are being distributed through the Frax website. And let's see. So the convex Frax base pool is getting up to 54% with the max lock. The convex Frax ETH WETH pool has, wow, look at that, 149% for a max lock for the Frax ETH. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's ETH on ETH too. So wow.
Yeah, those two yields together are pretty great. And
whoa.
Yeah. And let's see what else is on Arbitrum here. Are there any other? No, those are the two main pools right now.
Dude, and most likely that pool is probably not going to get deprecated or abandoned just because it's such a core pool. So, you probably feel safer like doing a little bit longer lock on that.
Oh, yeah. But even if it's 3 months, I mean, you're still probably getting like a 1.2% boost or 3%. So this Frax base pool rate would probably be 20 to 25%, and the Frax ETH WETH one was probably pushing up towards like 50 or 60%, even if you're just going for the 3 months. It's still pretty good.
Sick.
It's still really good. There's also some discussion this week in the chat about what the projected yields for veFXS is going to be after we get to CR100, which we are closing in on. We're like in the high 95s now. And that gap is closing quick. I mean, last month we were just at 92 and now we're back up to 95. So if prices continue to push up, especially for Frax shares, we might be back up to 100% soon. And that means that the yields that are currently going to engage in the buybacks will start going to veFXS. And Grills was saying that he was thinking that the 0.8% APR that we're getting right now on veFXS will turn into 8. Should be pretty good.
10x.
10x.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, because there's only about $6,000 worth of yield going to VFX per day right now. And based on the revenue numbers, when that goes to like 50 to 60,000, which is still really conservative, right? You know, like once Fraxchain kicks off and once the ecosystem starts to grow a bit more, I mean, that could turn into several $100,000.
Yeah, I mean, Ouroboros was talking about it too, right?
Yeah, like the double digit VFXS yield is what I'm waiting for.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think we all are.
And so yeah, I mean, like VFXS probably might be the big narrative for next year with the launch of Fraxchain CR100. That means a lot more revenues. If there's some sort of like airdrop as well too, I'm guessing it would go to VFXS. Primarily, or at least that's how I would structure it. I don't know what the team is going to do, but incentivizing the VFXS lockup probably is the best way to go for distribution of any incentives.
Yeah, and we'll know when it happens. I remember the last time for FPIS, like they said, hey, like there's just the screenshots and taken at this date. You better lock by this date. So there was like no funny games.
Yeah, and and so everything's been great. Frax shares is like at 925. I think I just checked.
Yeah,
925. Did it pump?
Yeah.
No pun. No, not financial advice. Oh, everything kind of pumps.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of been at 9.2, 9.5 was the I think the high, the recent high is like 9.5 maybe around there.
Yeah. I mean, maybe people are just excited for the halvening and airdrop and stuff. 6 days to the halvening, boys. Woo!
Yep,
wow.
Yep.
Can you believe it's been 3 years already?
God, it feels like a lifetime.
I know.
Help.
Check price. Yeah, please help.
But 3 years already. It feels so long ago that things kicked off. I remember that day when you know the protocol started, like day zero, and there was I think like what's interesting about it is I have just as much excitement about the current product roadmap as I did back in December of 2020.
Woo!
True.
Yeah, me too. I remember when it first launched. I was in my like house in Brazil, like taking a break from crypto, and all these like algo stables came out, and then like the last but not least was of them all was Frax Finance, which was this like unique hybrid model at the time. And so it's funny going from that first generation of algo stables and like where Frax was, you know, was a part of to like where it is now, where you even have like S&P writing reports on it.
Yeah. And it's
yeah, what'd you say?
Oh yeah, I mean the S&P thing was interesting this week. I talked about it with Austin Campbell.
What'd he say?
He was essentially saying like their structure for looking at stable coins is kind of misguided, right? Because an on-chain decentralized stable coin is never going to be able to get to the same ratings as say like a USDC or or even better like a Paxos or a PayPal dollar. And so it's just one of those things where I think DAI got like a marginally higher score than Frax did, and Frax's low score was primarily based on the fact that like one, it used oracles for a couple of things for like Fraxlin, and then additionally the lower than 100% CR. So yeah, I mean it's I take those with a grain of salt, right? Because like on-chain dollars that kind of represent a dollar but are not pegged to $1 are totally different than a dollar that's in a bankruptcy remote, or like dollarized debt that's in a bankruptcy remote vehicle that's governed by or regulated by the NYDFS DFS. Totally different structures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I concur.
So I don't know. What are you guys looking forward to over the next few weeks? What are you guys doing for the holidays?
I'll start here. It's actually my birthday weekend, so I will be
Oh,
going
happy
away
birthday!
until Monday. Thank you, sir. Here's what we can do.
Actually, let
The
me
balloons.
Here's some. I actually want to share this. This is I tracked my the APRs for Frax. Like I tracked like daily basis. I would log everything, and here's the APRs for like the first couple of months for Frax. Like day one, if you were doing Frax shares, it was like over 1,500% AR or APR, and then for the Frax USDC pools, it was like over 500% within the first like couple of weeks, and then that kind of came down to like the 100% range and stayed there for several months. It's pretty incredible at the time.
Special time that cannot be repeated again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here we are. We're on the cusp of a brand new year with a brand new set of products that are coming, and hopefully a brand new narrative for Frax as we emerge into 2024.
Yeah, and also Frax. Actually, I don't think you guys mentioned this, but PayPal USD, right? Frax
the gauge.
started adding. Yeah, the gauge came out plus, and Frax also started adding a ton of PYUSD onto its AMO situation. So that was quite interesting. It pulled it out of, I think, from my Frax check, it was like Frax USDP. It was probably a big portion of where that came from. So it's interesting to see this peaking out right now.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I hope that we get some significant bribes coming through PayPal USD soon. But that did pass. So we talked about that last week. That was FIP 307. PayPal USD has been officially approved for the Frax Curve AMO. And then we have the onboarding for Frax to Centrifuge, which we also talked about last week. That one just opened up today, so voting is ongoing for that. And the FXB voting is also active as well too. Oh, I'm sorry. The PYUSD is active, but it's already reached quorum. It's gotten pretty much positive votes across the board. And then the AMO for the FXBs is also pretty much passed as well too. Just have to wait for it to close tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah.
So all the ducks are lining up.
I can't believe it's December. It's almost time
for
yearly
real
review.
Yeah.
We were thinking about we're going to do a wrap-up episode or wrap-up week in the last week of the year. This is for you guys to start thinking about, is like, what was your favorite episode from the past year?
Oh,
so many.
We've been doing this for so long, man. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
That's like 51 episodes to choose from.
I think CryptoVestor was fun. DeFi was fun. Oh, soon.
No, I think we have recency bias.
We do.
So we definitely gotta look back into like the way beginning.
Like who were we interviewing back in like January?
I have no idea.
We had Shriram on in February. I think I remember.
We had Guard on.
Yeah, we definitely had Guard on.
Right. So we had
Guard.
Yeah, we kicked off the year. So the first episode of the year from this year was actually Curve Cap. And
how fitting.
Yeah, and we had on Gamma Swap, we had on Shram, we had on Chainlink God. Guart was a great one. And we picked up on Guart because Guart's like the meta in crypto Twitter right now. And
it's fun. We picked that up a year ago. Literally.
Yeah.
That was really...
Oh, Ansem was a good one. Austin.
Yeah, Ansem is like the Solana guy now.
Yeah,
I know.
the king of retail.
The king of
The king of retail.
The manliest manly.
was he
The man.
was he that big when we brought him on, or is just
He was big,
He
but
was
like
big.
he was big, but he wasn't like I don't think he was like a main character kind of level.
but he's like, whenever I think of Solana, I mean, he's like the guy now.
Yeah. How to catch
Yeah,
the
dude.
next bull run with Ansem.
Dude, Solana should totally pay Ansem as like, you know, a like you know how like companies pay athletes as like ambassadors just to be. I think Solana needs to put a jersey on Ansem like stat.
The FDR interview was great.
Oh, I like that one a lot. Yeah.
Any Ryan
The
interview?
Ryan one.
Right.
We also did, like, from a technical level, the Infinity Pools one has been like a lasting gem.
Oh, that's my favorite. I feel like I really got to flex. Like I feel like that's the episode where Dave just went and took a nap and then
I
you know?
did. I was fucking tired. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Oh yeah. No,
It was cool being outside for Charlie.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I like that one as well too. That was a fun one. And then recently we had Rune and the FX guy.
I'd say the Kane. I think Kane might have been my favorite one.
Like Kane.
But we should talk. We should talk about this more when we have like.
Yeah, true.
can, like,
true.
gather
the
thoughts.
The review time.
Yeah, it's something to think
Yeah.
about. But there's so many episodes from the past year. We'd like to hear what your favorite episode was. You can come join us in the Telegram chat and let us know. We're always there, and we love hearing from you guys.
Yeah, and if you want to catch all our updates and what's on our mind, make sure you hit that bell button. You subscribe, give us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Make sure you follow us on our social media at FlyWebDeFi on Twitter, TikTok, and Telegram. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter at flywebdefi.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at DeFi Dave22.
You can follow me at 0xcapital_K.
And I'm at traders_insight.
And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.